Gary's eating an apple.
I am, yeah.
Go on, give us a nice sound effect. Don't do it so loud. Go on, promote raw foods on here. We need to have some ethical stuff. We're not getting any from David Lepper.
Raw foods, well, I think it doesn't take much thinking about to realise that human beings are the only species on Earth which actually cook their food or process it in any way.
Yeah.
And we're also by far the unhealthiest creatures on Earth.
Right.
If we've got such highly developed brains, why do we keep cooking? Why do we do such insane things as process what nature provides for us before we consider it edible?
Uh-huh. So you're not one for Mom's apple pie?
No. I used to be, but you've got to remember that cooked food and grains are actually addictive. Grains contain high levels of opioids, which is why people can't do without them. Well, they feel they can't.
So is that why they become serial killers?
You might say that, yeah. There's actually a whole book written called Grain Damage by an internationally famous raw food nutritionist called Dr. Doug Graham. He's been a raw food consultant for about 25 years.
Yeah.
It describes the damage done to the colon and to your energy levels and to your bones and your brain and everything by eating grains.
Right. So it's a nice corny theory there.
Mm?
A nice corny theory.
Corn's bad for you as well. No, I mean, human beings are actually designed just to eat fruit and leaves and a few nuts and seeds, maybe sprouts. Yeah. Just anything anything which occurs in its natural state in nature, which is of plant origin, we're supposed to eat. And our anatomies as well. Right. If you look at our anatomies, we've only got 4 incisors, 4 out of 32 or something like that.
Yeah, teeth. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the first 2 teeth. And the strength of our hydrochloric acid in our stomachs is only 1/18 out of carnivores as well. Right. So it's completely unsuited for digesting meat.
Right.
And also the length of our intestines is much longer than in relation to the size of our bodies than that of carnivores.
Right.
And also you've got to remember that if you're eating that dairy produce is also completely inappropriate for human beings. We're the only animals which actually drink the milk of other animals.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I don't know what else you want me to say. It's all pretty obvious.
Is that a Granny Smith's?
I don't know actually. It's an apple though. Left as nature intended.
Yeah. What about organic food? Is that better?
It's better because it contains high levels of minerals and lower levels of toxins.
Right.
Yeah.
Great go. So it looks like maybe we're going to jack it in.
England as well.
Yeah.
I think it's probably because people are so deprived of being listened to as children.
Yeah.
When they're adults, it's like that woman there. She's just been talking ad infinitum about all of the machinations of local council and planning department and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm from Brighton and she didn't even ask me about it. It gets a bit tiresome. I mean, she's there to... I don't know, I get the impression that she wants me to use me as a sort of counsellor or something. If she needs a counsellor, what she's doing is... if she needs a counsellor, why is she a counsellor? She'll be able to cope with it without that.
Yep. There's this nice reverb in here. How did my poem go? Our MP, Lepper D, could stop this hydro jeopardy. If he votes no on September 8, his voters won't be so irate. Well, we're bloody angry, David. Where are you?
What right has David Lepper got to take it upon himself, to give himself powers to decide whether or not millions of people should be forced to ingest a certain substance into their bodies?
Yeah.
It's up to every single person what they want to ingest, what they want to take into their bodies, and what they don't.
Yeah.
And what he's doing what he would be doing by voting yes to the issue, is actually saying that it is not up to people, to individuals, what they put into their bodies and what they don't.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. If he can't see that, he's got no business being in Parliament.
No, and that's the same with our other MPs in Brighton and Hove, unfortunately.
Yeah, exactly. And either Kaplan and David Lepper, neither of them have actually opposed water fluoridation.
Yeah.
And Des Turner has actually signed the EDM, which promotes
supports it. Yeah.
Yeah. What they're doing is they're actually giving a small handful of people, self-appointed experts, the power to decide whether or not millions of people should actually have a substance against domestic, like forced onto them, forced to ingest a certain substance which has never been safety tested, which is a registered poison, and which is against domestic, European and international law.
Gary, why aren't you our MP?
Sorry?
Why aren't you our MP? You should be here in the corridors of power.
Because basically
instead of cleaning the corridors with Vim power.
Well, because basically any hierarchy, any person who has power over any other person is actually denying the humanity of that person.
Right.
In essence.
Yeah.
And we've got the obscenity of a handful of people who think that they have the right to make decisions on behalf of 70 million people.
Yeah. Finish the apple, Gary. Oh yeah, it's stereo. It's going to sound great on hi-fi. Oh god, there's teeth.
Yeah, it's supposed to be chips as well, and so they contain that antibacterial properties.
Do they? Right. Okay, great.